Hey, folks, I wanted to take a moment to welcome Dixon's Fixins to the Talking About Food family. As a private chef, I know how much time you spend in grocery stores, and we've all heard the saying, time is money. That's why at Dixon's Fixins, they deliver all your beef, chicken, pork, and seafood needs at prices that fit the average family's budget. This family-owned business is committed to providing the best USDA choice and prime steak, open-range farms chicken, butcher-certified pork, and wild-caught seafood. All their products are all natural, hormone-free, with no byproducts or steroids. They treat every family they serve as if it were their own. So sit back, relax, and let Dixon's Fixins bring the best quality food right to your door, garage, or place of business, all while cutting your grocery bills in half. Check them out today at DixonsFixins.com. That's Dixon's Fixins, bringing quality food into your home and bringing your family back to the table. Hello, Grand Strand. This is Richard Florzak, the private chef to the stars, and welcome back to Talking About Food. Remember, it's the only local food commentary show on the Grand Strand. We talk about local restaurants, food trucks, festivals, and farmers markets. From time to time, I interview some of my celebrity friends. I'm sure you've heard the show with Mel Gibson. I did one with Paul Williams. And the great blues guitarist Kenny Wayne Shepherd. And if you remember, yeah, they're celebrities, but celebrity or not, this show, we talk about food. And speaking of food, nothing brings people together like great food. And it's happened again. Great food has brought me together with Julie and Michael Steynberg. They're the owners of the new Bohemian Bull here in Murrells Inlet. And Julie and Michael, welcome to Talking About Food.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad to have you. I just run down a list of questions and see where this takes us. Do either of you have formal training in the culinary arts?
No.
No, I always like that. I always like that response because for a number of different reasons that I'll get into some other time. Have you been in the restaurant business before?
Yes.
And what is your background in that?
Oh, it started in my early 20s. I worked for a bar that served beer and chicken wings.
Yeah.
And that's where my love started. And then I went on from there to other restaurants. And lastly, the two restaurants I stopped working with was Applebee's and Ruby Tuesdays.
No kidding. Yeah, those are nice family establishments. Yep. So you got your feet wet in that. What were you doing at those places?
I started out as a waitress, moved into bartending, and then did shift manager.
Yeah, so you're learning a lot about the front of the house. Now, Michael, you're from South Africa. You've been here, I think you said 13 years?
That's correct. 13 years.
Any restaurant background?
None whatsoever.
So you're following Julie's lead on this, I guess, right?
I think it's our passion for food and creating food started when we started dating. You know, we set out to go find the best burger we could. Started in Columbia, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Always end up back home and making our own food. Like, we are huge in making something different for dinner almost every night.
And sauces. We like to make sauces. Yeah. We did a one time where we only would cook what we had in our refrigerator and our pantry without going to the grocery store.
Well, that sounds like what a private chef does. Right. That's what I did most of the time.
So absolutely a passion for food, and it sort of brought us closer together the longer we cooked together.
And trying to create the best burger. I remember one time we bought some ground hamburger meat, and it was so lean that it really wasn't flavorful. And so we came up with the idea to cut all the fat off of our bacon that we already had at
Yeah.
home and grind that up really fine and mix it into the
Wow,
hamburger meat.
that's a great
and we were
idea.
like, oh, that's so
Yeah.
much better.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we'd put jalapeno
Yeah.
in there, and it turned out to
Jalapeno.
be a great
Yeah, we
burger.
Wow.
diced up a jalapeno. I do remember
Yeah.
that.
Yes, the obvious next step was a restaurant.
Yeah. That led us to Bohemian Bull.
Bohemian Bull,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Why this location in Murrells Inlet? It was the former Chicago pizza place.
So this is actually there's a little bit of a backstory to the whole thing. We've been looking for a place to put a Bohemian Bull in Myrtle Beach area for just about 2 years now.
Yeah. Been a while.
Looking at several different locations. We always said that we wanted to be in a neighborhood, local neighborhood, rather than at a tourist
Part of town.
Yeah.
I mean, we've looked at several
Everywhere, yeah.
locations.
I mean, and for like I said, almost 2 years, and then we got wind of Old Chicago closing. For whatever reason, they closed. So we decided to get into talks with them fairly early, and we wanted to help the employees of Old Chicago. So we went in there while they were still operating and being run as Old Chicago, and sat down with the entire staff and told them, like, this is what our plan is, this is what our concept is, and then we would love to
Retain you.
retain you guys, to keep you employed for, and not have you go through a spell over Christmas where you're not going to be employed. So we were very transparent and open, and the owners of Old Chicago was helped us. Obviously, they wanted to look after the employees as well.
Right.
So they allowed us to actually interview all the employees.
What percentage of those employees would you say stayed on?
90%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, we've had very little turnover. Maybe we are still looking for kitchen staff.
Yeah,
But,
we could probably
just
do
to
it with another
go-
2 line cooks. I
Yeah,
would
just
say.
to help us through the busy tourist summer months.
Right.
But all of the staff that came over from Old Chicago has been wonderful.
Well,
Yeah, really wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you something, folks. If you're a good line cook or you've been in the restaurant business for a while, these are the people to work for. I mean, I've worked for so many people that I've got a good antenna for decent folks, and they are just that. So if you're looking for work, line cook, service job, check out Bohemian Bull. How long has the restaurant been open?
We opened February 24th.
Okay. Oh, so not even a month?
Yeah.
Wow. And how is it going?
It's going great. I
What-
mean, we've had a great turnout.
Nice. Because you there was another establishment in there before you. So you created Bohemian Bull there. Business is going well. What do you attribute that to? Because often I can speak from experience. I opened with nobody knowing I existed. So how did you make sure that you had customers as soon as you opened?
I think a lot of the staff that we retained
From the
really
previous?
talked us up
Yeah.
to the clientele that was at the old
I
establishment.
see. Yeah.
Social media presence, talking to all of our friends and family, just spreading the word and positive thinking.
Yeah. So you do have social media on
Yes,
your side.
we do.
Yeah, because I've seen you on Facebook. I got to tell you something before we go in any further. I love your website.
Thank you.
Website is terrific. Great photos, and it's really important. I talked last week about a place. I'm not going to beat it to death, but I went on to look at some of their food, and you had to order something in order to look at it. And it just drove me nuts. And I know from experience that got to have a website.
Yeah.
Not just any old website. And I know it's hard, right? For some maybe small mom and pop places where every penny counts. And in situations like that, I get it. But when you only have a Facebook page, it's hard to navigate around your business that
Agreed.
way. Why should people go to your restaurant?
We pride ourselves on being very involved in the community.
Yeah.
During our rebuild, I'm going to call it, it's rebranding and taking over the space, we've used everybody local. We went out of our way to ensure that we make use of the sign companies local to Myrtles, the plumber company, electricians, everybody that we used was in the local community that we're going to service with food.
Right.
And that's important for us. We're trying to get involved with schools, sponsored sporting events, sporting teams.
Yeah.
So if there's a need for a school event or a school program that needs some sponsorship from a local business,
Yeah.
come and see us.
Yeah.
That's how we try to reinvest back into the community.
Yeah.
And I think that makes all the difference. That and then our recycling and composting component with the restaurant, trying to keep it as clean and green as
Nice.
as what we can with a footprint. And as you might know, with a restaurant, that's pretty difficult to
Yes, it is.
to achieve. But I feel like we were very, very well received in the community, and it's probably because we made use of all the services available to us within the Myrtles and the Pawleys Island community. Yeah.
Well, let's talk strictly about food, and I'll ask the same question. Why Bohemian Bull? Why should people come to have dinner at Bohemian Bull?
Well, if you want a fun, family-oriented atmosphere, great food, burgers, craft burgers, craft beers, and bourbon.
Yeah.
That's sort of our slogan.
Yeah. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong there.
We grind our meat in-house. So we
very important.
We take two different types of meat.
What are
chuck
they? Go ahead.
and brisket.
Yeah.
And we grind it every single day and make our patties.
Wow.
So nothing is frozen. All of our sauces are homemade. Nothing is, come out of other than a ketchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I had this thing with the servers in my restaurant, and I explained to them, look, I'm not going to micromanage you. I have a small menu. I want you to know it, and I want you to be able to sell it. But I don't want you to lie either. I want you to have a handful of things that you personally believe are your favorites. Because what one of the things that drives me nuts when I go to a restaurant and it's new, I say to the server, what's good? You tell me what's good. And when I hear, oh, everything's good, it tells me you don't really know your job. So I'm asking you, Julie, what are some of your favorite dishes at Bohemian Bull?
My two favorites are That's My Jam burger.
Yeah. I looked at that.
Gyro chicken sandwich.
Okay.
And if I'm feeling experimental, I will get the chicken sandwich with no bun and serve it on a bed of our cilantro lime rice.
Oh, man. I didn't see the cilantro lime rice on the website. Is it there? Did I just miss it?
It is served with our blackened salmon, and that's really good.
I love that. Yeah, and Julie, what was that second burger?
It's the gyro chicken burger.
If you can explain to the listeners what that is.
Absolutely. It's another ground in-house chicken patty that we put together. It's topped with arugula, so that gives it that little peppery taste as well. We have our whipped feta on there, which is also made in-house, and that is also an appetizer on our menu, which is really good with the hot honey.
Yeah.
It comes with a tomato, cucumber, and tzatziki sauce on a potato bun. And you can modify it any which way you would like. If you don't like the tzatziki sauce, you can get it on the side.
Yeah, so that's what gives it that sort of Mediterranean flair. What? Give me another favorite.
Another favorite is That's My Jam burger. That's one of my personal favorites.
And what's on that? Just to make me a little bit more hungry.
That gets my favorite, a fried green tomato on it.
Yeah.
And that is also another appetizer of ours with dollops of whipped feta on top of that. It comes with our bacon jam, which we also make in-house.
You make it. Wow.
And pepper jack pimento cheese. And all three of those things
they work together.
They just really make the burger.
What about you, Michael? Give me two of your favorite go-tos there at Bohemian Bull in Murrells Inlet.
So I love a salmon. The blackened salmon over the lime rice is fantastic. And then our classic Reuben. it's a big hit in our restaurant right now, and we make the corned beef fresh.
You make it at the restaurant.
That's correct. Yeah.
That is so impressive. What does that get served on?
So we do a Guinness braised corned beef, Thousand Island dressing sauce, Swiss and sauerkraut on a marbled rye sandwich.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, on a sandwich. I also see chimichurri burger. Can you explain that?
The chimichurri burger is also made in-house, the chimi sauce.
Yeah.
It is arugula, the bacon jam again, our wonderful beer cheese that we also make in-house, and then over easy egg, fried egg over top of that. The chimichurri sauce is a little spicy for some. Again, I always say if you're on the fence about it, ask for it on the side.
Yeah,
but really together with the egg and the bacon jam.
What a great addition.
It's just a great combo.
Yeah, great addition to that with the chimichurri sauce, which is one of the things that stood out to me, that this is, I mean, at first glance, I was thinking, is this going to be a typical sports bar? You're going to go in there, you're going to get frozen French fries and blah, 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 blah. But as I perused the menu, it couldn't be further from the truth. And what I really like about it is that there's like a Southern flair to it, but it's also Americana, continental. But you also throw a few things in there, like that chimichurri sauce on top of the burger. And I noticed also on the website, you have incredible drinks.
Yeah, we actually have a mixologist. That's all she does. Works on new drinks,
right?
Comes up with unique flavor combinations within our drinks.
Yeah. Can you name some of them?
Yeah, we've got a creme brulee old fashioned.
Hold on a second. Creme brulee old fashioned.
Creme brulee old fashioned.
This is brilliant. Go ahead. What's in it?
So that's a creme brulee bourbon that goes in there. A little burnt sugar syrup.
Yeah.
A dash of cocoa bitters.
Yeah.
And then over the large, a cube of ice.
Oh, wow. What else?
So we have gins and roses. That is pretty popular as well. Bombay Sapphire Gin. 8 drops of rose water.
Yeah.
Lemon wedge. And then 2 dried rose petals.
Oh, yeah.
With that. Fancy cocktail. Appetizing, appeasing to the eyes, very nice. Yeah,
the photos I've seen of the drinks are incredible. Name a couple more drinks if you can.
One of my favorite ones is the smoked rosemary Jane.
Smoked rosemary Jane.
Yeah, when you walk into to our restaurant, sometimes you'll catch a whiff of that burned rosemary.
Yeah.
That's because of the smoked rosemary Jane. It's very popular.
And what's the alcohol in that?
In that one, we do a stoner smoked herb whiskey, rosemary simple syrup, lemon juice, egg white.
Egg white. Yeah. Wow.
And then strawberry slices, rosemary sprigs, a large ice cube, and then take a stock of rosemary, and then we burn it just to get that aroma going.
Wow, that's cool.
Also, I would try the Pineapple Express or the Mango Habanero Margarita.
Oh, wow.
And if you're not a drinker, we do have an array of great mocktails as well.
Now, do you yourself like those mocktails?
I love them. I don't drink, so I'm all about the mocktails.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Give me some examples of the ones that you like.
The one that I like, you can do the high rise in a can. We can also jazz it up and add some ginger beer to it, a little splash of grenadine, a lime wedge.
And I saw a picture of Deep Eddy Lemon, and I thought to myself, all I have to do is show my wife that picture, and we're there.
And then stay tuned. We're making a beer garden out back.
Really?
Outside of our screened-in patio. So
yeah. And
stay tuned for that.
When is that going to happen approximately?
We are hoping end of I would say end of March.
So with our craft burgers, craft beer, we decided to do a full-on outdoors beer garden.
Yeah.
It's going to be open.
Yeah.
So you're going to sit outside, fresh air,
Tables.
enjoy the outdoors while having some craft
and some live music.
live music.
Oh, wow.
We have a stage out
Yeah.
there too.
Yes, sure.
Oh, wow. Folks, you got to check that out as well. I mean, that's going to be just a lot of fun. And what about the decor? I mean, it's gorgeous in there. How did you come up with all of that?
Thank you. I also wanted to do local, so we found a local muralist. He was actually from the Marine Corps, which is close to my heart because I was born in Parris Island.
Yeah.
My dad was a Marine. So we have his artwork, one piece on the inside, one piece on our screened-in patio. Then we also have...
Lucky Cat murals, right?
Yes, Lucky Cat murals.
Lucky Cat murals. Yeah, that's cool stuff. And those murals are just what they are. They're murals. They're big paintings and done real well by who? Locals.
Absolutely.
It's all about sticking local, folks. And nobody does it like these people.
Thank
That's
you.
cool.
Investing in the community.
We also have a large array of beers on tap. Everything is craft beer.
Yeah.
And you can locate our beer list on Untapped.
Yeah, it's an app, right?
Yes.
So
find
for
them.
the listeners, so if you have a favorite beer, you download Untapped and you plug your beer or beers in, and it'll tell you where they're located.
Absolutely.
So do you have local craft beers?
Yes, a wide array of them are locals. One of them, which has become a favorite, is Beach Easy. And that's through the Grand Strand Brewery, which is here locally.
Yeah.
I believe it is our beer of the month as well.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
What makes it the beer of the month? Is it a special? You get a discount?
Yeah, it's on our happy hour menu as well for the beer of the month, and that will rotate. I think the next one in line for rotation is the Wicked Weed beer.
Oh, do you know where that's from?
I don't.
No worries. But it is a craft style beer. So they trade out every 30 days. What about events? I seem to remember seeing, was there a karaoke night?
We do have we've got a bingo, music bingo.
What is that?
On
How does that
Tuesdays.
work?
It's an app-based game. We've got a gentleman that comes out and puts up his system, and you download the app on your phone, and he asks questions, and you answer it in a group setting, table by table, and compete for points.
Yeah.
And then we have a...
Hold on a second. Hold on. What can you win?
So there's 5 prizes per night that we give out, from anywhere from Bohemian Bull hoodies, caps, the one like I'm wearing, to gift cards, Bohemian Bull gift cards. I think we do $10, $15, and $20 gift cards.
Wow, that's
prize.
incredible. So people can come in, have dinner, have some drinks, play this. What kind of bingo is it called?
Music bingo.
Music bingo, and win some stuff at the same time. Folks, what would you say your overall mission is in this business?
So we believe through hard work, respecting people, being honest, and then creating great food, and bringing like-minded people together, that you can create something very special.
Oh, that's great. I like hearing that. Okay, this is Julie and Michael Steynberg. They are the owners of the new Bohemian Bull in Murrells Inlet. This sounds like a fantastic place to hang out in. It's a neighborhood type of restaurant. You hear the passion, you hear the truth. Michael just stated that they're on a mission here. You know, they give back to the community. They use locals for as many different products and workmanship as they possibly can. I mean, that says everything that you need to know. Check them out. That's Bohemian Bull, 2859 US 17 in Murrells Inlet. And coming up after the break, I found a really, really good pizzeria. Some of you folks have told me about it. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Talking About Food. That was Julie and Michael Steynberg of Bohemian Bull in Murrells Inlet. Couldn't ask for two nicer people. They deserve to be successful. Anyway, I mentioned before the break that I was told about quite a pizzeria, and I was glad that I went there. It's called Anto's Pizza Romana and Market in Conway. A number of people have told me about it. Opened, I think it was last October. So they haven't been open that long. And I really, really like this pizza. It's very interesting because when I walked in and it said Pizza Romana, and they have Roman style, they have New York style, build your own pizza, but of course, you know me, I wanted New York style, and I wanted it plain. I didn't want any pepperoni or sausage or anything. I want to taste it in its most basic form. And I was pleasantly surprised. And first of all, it's a small restaurant. I would say probably seats about 25 people, maybe 30. A lot of nice, friendly people work there. I believe it was the owner was sort of hovering behind the counter. But I noticed they had the two different types of pizza set out in the case. You know, you could have it by the slice if you want. And Romana or Roman style means it's square. And it's a little bit thicker than, say, a New York pizza. And when I first saw Roman, I thought, oh, no. And I remember when Mel Gibson was doing The Passion of the Christ and we were all in Rome, you know, for so long, I was so excited to go there. I'd never been to Italy before, and then I discovered Roman pizza. I thought it was horrible. I thought it was square, and to me, it was just like tough and dry, but people would line up, you know, around the corner for some of these places and, you know, to have their afternoon slice or whatever. I didn't like it at all. It wasn't until I got outside of Rome that I discovered some pizza that I liked a little better than that. But anyway, back to Anto's. It came out. I was watching them make the pizzas, and when the Pizzaiolo was opening the oven door, I'd peek inside and I saw this like really nice char going on with some of the pizzas in there, and it resembled wood-fired pizza. And I'm thinking, how are they getting that char around the edge? Anyway, the pizza came, and, you know, I always get it to go, but I, you know, immediately have a slice as soon as I get into the car. And with this god-awful diet that I've been on, I can only take one bite of the pizza and then one bite of the crust. And, you know, I always say that when I'm not on a diet, I'm, you know, going to have one slice on the way home, and then depending on the length of the drive home will play a factor in just how many slices I eat. But this crust, first of all, pizza itself was really good. Had a nice charred carriage on the bottom, lifted the slice up, bent over a little bit. Really nice quality cheese. I happen to know that they use Grande brand cheese. It's good quality cheese. Not the greatest, but it's what you need for a good New York style pizza. They use Stanislaus canned tomatoes for their sauce. It's a great brand. Tomatoes grown in Northern California. They're good quality. They're not Cento, but they're right up there, close. Sauce was excellent. Spicy, I mean, flavored with spicy, not peppery spicy, but not overbearing. But what blew me away the most was the crust. It was puffed up. It was charred. It was airy. It's almost hard to explain that it was crispy, but light and chewy at the same time. And I'm thinking about this, and I can't figure out how are they getting these results. I did notice that while I was sitting waiting for my pizza to come, they had these big bags of Caputo flour, 50-pound bags, set out at the end of the counter. So I knew that they were using Caputo, which is my favorite brand. It's a flour out of Naples, Italy. But it's not the flour that is typically used for New York-style pizza. New York-style pizza usually uses either all-purpose or something similar to that. Now, I don't want to lose listeners, so I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. 00 flour is the most sifted of all flours, making it very fine, smooth, and soft. You know what? I'm not going to go into all of this. All I'm going to tell you is it's almost like a hybrid, the crust, a hybrid of wood-fired results and New York-style results all in one. And it comes out beautifully. And I did a deep dive when I got home into the products that Anto's Pizza Romana uses, and then it all made sense to me. And it is pretty much what I just explained. It's like a hybrid of doughs. Their dough is 80% water, so it's an extremely hydrated dough, which is not the same as the hydration of a New York dough. I'm not going to go into it in any more than that. All I'm going to tell you is that it's an excellent pizza with an absolutely excellent crust. They use a New York water maker, which makes the water ideal for baking needs. They claim, you know how I feel about the water part of it. I don't think it has that much to do with it. Even Chef Jeff Blunt of LeVay Bakery said the same thing. You know what? It doesn't matter. If that's the results they're getting, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Please don't fix this pizza. It is near perfect in my opinion, and they're certainly going to be up there at least in the top 3 pizzerias so far that I have discovered in the Grand Strand. Once again, that's Anto's Pizza Romana and Market. They are at 1129 3rd Avenue in Conway. Check them out. One of my favorites. And when we get back, my good friend Jack Gregory, Merle's Inlet Foodies, also of Pawleys Island Foodies fame, he's going to be here, and he's going to be telling us about 4 or 5 restaurants that happen to be some of his favorites. And if he's telling me, I'm going, because this guy, he just posts the most gorgeous pictures. They always make me so hungry. So stay tuned. Yeah, that's right. Anto's in Conway. Man. Definitely worth a trip there. One of my favorites so far. And also one of my favorites is my dear friend Jack Gregory. You see him on Facebook, sometimes a couple times a day, making me more hungry than any other person on Facebook. And I'm telling you, there's sometimes I skip over his posts because it just makes me so darn hungry. I'm sure you've seen his posts many a time. He's the owner, admin of both Merle's Inlet Foodies and Pawleys Island Foodies. And like I said, nothing will make you as hungry as Jack's posts. And he's got a ton of followers. So if you're not part of the group, you better jump on that bandwagon. Jack Gregory, welcome back to Talking About Food.
Thank you, Rich. It's always great to be back and talking about food.
Yeah.
Especially desserts.
Oh, don't get me started. You're killing me already. We haven't even started talking. So if you don't mind, if we can just jump right into this, can you just tell us about a couple of places that you think people, I was going to say people visiting, people just moved here, but actually people that have been here for years. Any good restaurants come to mind?
Well, right now, a place that's making a lot of noise is Surfside Charlie's.
I've heard about it, haven't been there. Tell me about it.
It has some absolute great food to start with, but it has great prices. Like on Tuesdays, they have a $10 menu.
Wow.
Anything from shrimp scampi, meatloaf, one of my all-time favorites is turkey. Now, this is real turkey breast, white meat or turkey.
Right.
Comes with 2 sides, usually mashed potatoes and corn.
Yeah.
$10.
You can't go to a fast food restaurant and get, like a McDonald's or Burger King meal for $10.
Absolutely. Mondays, their special is a $5 hamburger.
Wow.
I had it the other day.
Is it good?
Oh, way better than good. This is real hand-patted burgers. It comes with that little bun that I think they buy locally.
Yeah.
But food is so good, but it's not a fancy place.
Right.
If you're looking for fancy, you don't want to go there. They usually have a little bit of music going.
Right.
But everything that we've eaten there 4 times.
Yeah.
Everything is great. The service in there is absolutely wonderful, too.
Is it new?
It's been there about 2 years. Several people have tried that location and not done well at all. These people here, their concept is good food, plenty of it, at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
And they're rich. They are packing them in.
Really?
There's a line every day.
No kidding.
If you don't get there at 4 o'clock, you got about a 30-minute wait.
Wow.
Every day.
Wow. Is it a big place?
We looked at it the other day. Ironically, it seats about 150.
That's a big place.
It's a big restaurant.
It's a big place to have a line out the door.
It is.
Oh my goodness.
They have a little bit of entertainment. Everything we've eaten there has just been wonderful.
Wow.
I'm thinking their beer and cocktail prices must be really good because the bar is always full. They're dining also too now. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But their Surfside does have some day drinkers.
Yeah. I think every place has some of those. Yeah. Yeah.
And the atmosphere is a fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's a little loud in there.
Yeah.
But everybody's smiling. Yeah. Everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
Because the food is good. They're bringing their friends with them. And it's very reasonable.
That sounds great. What about something else? Lay something else on the listeners.
Well, one of my favorites. Now, this is in North Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
Rich, it is a drive, but it's called Hoskins Restaurant.
Hoskins, I've heard of it.
Well, been there 50 years.
Wow.
I go there and I get the same thing about every time.
Yeah.
It's a flounder sandwich.
Yeah.
Now, this is real fresh flounder.
Yeah.
Comes with 2 sides, coleslaw and fries, or $10.10.
Oh, my God.
Sweet Beth always gets the chicken.
Yeah. Is it fried chicken?
Fried. Oh, it is so good. It way better than any fried chicken I've ever eaten. We will drive from Pawleys Island up to Hoskins. Now, there's always a line, but it don't last that long in there. But their fried chicken is some of the best I've ever eaten.
Oh, wow.
But one of the things, and this is going to really kill you.
Yeah.
They make their homemade desserts.
Oh.
I had peanut butter pie the other day.
Oh, come on, Jack.
Coconut cream pie.
Oh.
So now we're such foodies is that we actually had dinner at Surfside Charlie's, then drove to North Myrtle Beach to Hoskins just to have dessert.
Wow, man, that
That
must be
peanut
good.
butter pie and the coconut pie, all homemade, and they're $3.25. So, we got to be crazy. We go, hey, let's get in the car, Sweet Beth. We haven't here, and then
Do you know what that would be in Los Angeles? That would be $15 a slice. Unbelievable!
So
wow,
is that what you charge Tom Cruise?
Yeah, no, yeah,
probably a little more than that.
Yeah, even more than that. So they've got great home cooked food, great fried chicken, great fresh flounder. Beautiful desserts, homemade there at Hoskins.
The thing when you get there, you're going to find just about everything is homemade.
Yeah.
And even their sides are just really, really good.
Yeah.
But they've been in business 50-something years.
Wow.
And
wow, that's a long time.
And it's just a local restaurant. It probably seats maybe 75 people.
Yeah.
But it's funny is that the people will stand in line outside, just waiting, no reservations. You just stand in line and wait for your turn.
Well, they're doing something right. Anything else on your list where they're doing things right?
Flamingo Grill.
Oh, interesting. I've been invited there by my cousin, my aunt. We're going there tomorrow evening.
Well, that restaurant is owned by Dino and Dino, partners in that. But Dino has the Pancake House up there, just famous in North Myrtle Beach. But I want to share with you, if I may, a short story about
Absolutely.
Flamingo.
That's why you're here.
Years ago, a friend of mine, Kenny Jordan. Now, Kenny is a local real estate person. He's since passed away, but a great friend. Whenever Dan Quayle was president,
Right.
Kenny was a dead ringer for Dan Quayle.
Look just like him.
He, listen, looked just like him. He got it all the time. Well, for his wife's birthday, we decided to go to Flamingo Grill. We rented a limousine.
Yeah.
We pull up there. The maitre d' comes outside and said, "Oh, Mr. Quayle, we had no idea you were coming."
Oh, really?
At this point, that we actually
did you keep the
Oh, for real. Listen, it was a birthday. We had some adult beverages before we got there.
Yeah.
So, of course, we kept it
afternoon
going.
drinking?
Absolutely. So he said, well, we're kind of packed, but if you'll give us 5 minutes, we'll have you a private table over in the corner.
Unbelievable.
So we walk in, and they keep saying, Mr. Quayle, kept talking. and then they come over, and then they said, "Listen, Mr. Quayle, we're so thankful you coming. We want to comp your meal." Well, Kenny Jordan's wife, Susie, was not having that part of it. She's like, "No, I'm not going with that."
Yeah.
I stepped up. I said, "We actually prefer to pay, and I'm going to take care of it."
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, how about if we just comp you dessert?" And I looked at it, I said, "What do you think, Mr. Quayle?" He said, "Well, I'll be good with dessert."
Yeah. Wow.
So we had the entire meal there, and they escorted us out. Well, the waitress came over and said, "I'm not going to bother you for your autograph." And I'm like, "Thank God."
Right.
But we left there, and we have told that story many times. Like I said, Kenny, he was such a wonderful person, and his wife Susie. But having that venture up there. But now I got to tell you something: the Flamingo Grill, the food there,
Yeah.
some of the best on the beach.
Wow.
Now, it's a little upscale, Rich.
Yeah.
It is. But I'm going to make sure I say this right. It's your style of cooking.
Yeah.
It's really good, and it's really authentic,
Yeah.
and everybody's going to love it.
Oh, excellent. Oh, I'm excited now. I don't think you know what, I have to ask you, did you ever let on to the owner?
No.
No, but I'm sure they found out through the grapevine, right? Especially when they turned the TV on that night and Dan Quayle was somewhere in Singapore.
I saw Dino Thompson, and I told him about it. He laughed and laughed. He
must
said,
be a great guy.
"Only thing I regret is, Jack, I wish I had been there."
Oh, wow.
He said, "I wouldn't have let on with anything."
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can top that one. If you have one more on your list, let me throw this fastball at you here. You've said before you love a good hot dog. Turn us on to a good hot dog.
Well, it's hard to find here in the Myrtle Beach area, but in Conway, there's a little restaurant going Business 501 into Conway called Oliver's. Now, Oliver's is the real deal when it comes to a hot dog.
Yeah, good, huh?
I grew up so poor that we got a hot dog on Thursday night.
That was a special night.
Listen, that was so special, and I still love hot dogs to today. I wish this area had a better, but we will drive to Oliver's because they make a homemade chili.
Yeah.
They do an all beef bun. They toast their buns. So it is one of the best places around. You'll see it crowded. They only open at lunch. They're not open at night.
Small place?
Very small place. Probably seats 40 people or so.
Well, that's still, I mean, their specialty is hot dogs.
That's about it.
Yeah, they have 40 seats, fairly big for a hot dog joint. But once again, they're packed all. What kind of hot dog do you get?
Well, I always buy the ballpark all beef, but the bun size hot dog.
Yeah, but I mean when you go to
when I go there,
yeah.
Well, I'm from the South, so I'm gonna have it with chili, ketchup, mustard, and coleslaw. I don't do onions, but a lot of people don't. They said we don't want to put coleslaw, but if you try it. But I've tried it the other way, like the Northerns. I've eaten it a lot of times with celery salt. I like it that way with just chili, mustard, ketchup, celery salt.
Yeah.
But their hot dogs there, if you go over there, it's more of a working class restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay.
But
I like that.
It doesn't take long for you. But it is, listen, Conway, it is worth the trip. About Business 501, Oliver's Hot Dogs.
Well, we certainly covered the Grand Strand today, folks, and nobody can do it better than Jack Gregory. If he doesn't make you hungry, nothing will. We talked about Surfside Charlie's in Surfside Beach. They have these great specials, $5 burgers on Monday. What was the other thing that you had? It was
Tuesdays they have the $10 meal, and I had the turkey, and Sweet Beth had the fried boneless pork chop.
Oh, boy. And then we talked about Hoskins in North Myrtle Beach, an iconic place that has the best fried chicken, according to Jack. And that was what Sweet Beth had, but you get something else there. Oh, the fried flounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is absolutely so good.
Line out the door. Flamingo Grill, which I'm going to tomorrow. We didn't talk much about the food. You said it was a bit upscale, fine dining. Do you remember what you had there, some of the dishes you liked?
Well, I had the flounder with the crab meat.
Oh, yeah.
When you walk in the Flamingo Grill, you know that it's going to be
good. Good.
Yeah.
And we ended with Oliver's Hot Dogs in Conway. Man, am I hungry. And I could probably go to all 4 of those one after another, especially the way my buddy Jack Gregory describes it. Make sure you follow my good friend Jack at Murrell's Inlet Foodies and Pawleys Island Foodies. Jump on the train, folks. There's thousands of people that follow Jack Gregory. Jack, thanks so much for coming in to talking about food.
It's a pleasure, Rich, always.
And remember to check out Anto's Pizza Romana and Market in Conway. That's a good one. It's worth a drive out there if you don't live in Conway. Check it out. And also, don't forget Bohemian Bull in Murrell's Inlet. They are at the old Chicago pizza location. If you go in there, see the owners, Julie and Michael Steynberg, great people. And if you see them, tell them that the private chef to the stars sent you there. Tell them that you heard about it on the Talking About Food show. As a matter of fact, any place you go in that you've heard of here, tell them you heard about it on Talking About Food. It's about time. Some of the businesses know that I'm trying to help if I can. Love talking about food. Love helping small businesses out. And if you're in established places, some of the higher end places, the fine dining places. I know I've been asking a few to come on. They don't want to. I don't know why. So I understand that some of the businesses are well established. Don't think that they need any more advertising. That's not what this is about. It's not about advertising. If small mom and pop places or new businesses are opening up and they would like me to help advertise them, that's fine. But when I ask people to come on the show, it's not because I want to help further their business through advertising channels. It's not what it's about. I just love talking about food. A lot of people would like to know what goes on in the background in a restaurant, be it fine dining or a food truck, So some of the fine dining chefs that I've asked to come on that don't return my calls or whatever, please, if you hear about this, understand. I just want to shoot the breeze with you, and the folks want to hear it. So give me a shot. Anyway, whether you're interested in fine dining, mom and pop places, or food trucks, one thing will always remain the same, and that is you are your family's private chef. Thanks for listening.